What's up everyone? Welcome back to another video, or if this is your first time here, welcome. After months of waiting, we finally got a Pokemon Presents, which included some new information about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Not only did we get more gameplay, including a look at a few never before seen Pokemon, but they also showed off the gimmick for this generation. If you want to see my initial reaction to the trailer, I'll have that linked in the description and at the end of the video. But I thought it would be fun if we went over all of these announcements, including the supplemental information added to the website. There were some cool things shown off, and we even got a good look at the region map, which we can also take a look at. And I apologize ahead of time if I mispronounce any of these new words or names. So, with that out of the way, let's jump into it. First, we see some Growlithe and Arcanine in a field, and if you look at the Arcanine, the lighting and detail of the model makes it look really good. It's nice to see that they are improving things as we get closer to the game's release. We also see some Deerling and Sawsbuck, which leads me to assume that all of their forms will appear in the game. Either the games will have seasons, or more likely they'll be divided by the various biomes the region has to offer. We also finally learned that the region's name is Paldea. This is what the leaks were saying, so it's nice to have that confirmed. And it looks like the region is ripe with various landscapes and unique topography for us to explore. Here's our first official look at the region map, and it is jam-packed with detail, but I want to save taking a closer look for the end of the video. We also learned the names of the schools you'll be attending. In Scarlet, the school is Naranja Academy, and in Violet, it's Uva Academy. Apparently, it's the oldest school in the region, and I can't wait to explore it. I hope that the school setting is more than just a backdrop for the main adventure. I want to take some classes, get to know the professors, and maybe even have to do some activities and quests for classes you're taking. I think that would be really interesting. But a few of the best announcements were when they showed off some of the new Pokemon we'll get to meet in Paldea. Let's take a look at them next. One such Pokemon is a new regional form. It's Paldean Wooper, and according to the website, it's poison ground type. Apparently, they were forced out of the water and began to live in bogs on the land. Its body is covered with a poisonous film, and they shoot poisonous liquid from their hardened gills. I love this variant. It's great that Wooper has gained some attention. I wonder if it will evolve into a Paldean Quagsire, or if it will get a completely new evolution. I guess we'll have to wait to find out. Next, we have Satitan. It's a pure ice type and has tough muscles which pack incredible power. It likes to migrate around snowy regions and has a thick layer of fat. It has a total of 5 horns, with one of them able to freeze the area around itself. This one's pretty cool, no pun intended. I like its design and I wonder if it will evolve or if it's a one-stage Pokemon. It could go either way, so I'm excited to eventually see more of what it can do. But last, and most certainly not least, we have the best Pokemon they've unveiled so far. Its name is Fidough, which has to be one of the best names ever, and it's a pure fairy type. Do you get it? It's a dog made out of dough, and it's called Fidough. I just love it. According to the website, it has a smooth, moist texture, and ferments things in its vicinity by using the yeast in its breath. But I need this bread dog in my life. Get it? Need. This time, the pun was very much intended. I also recently posted a poll asking which of these Pokemon were people's favorite. And as of this recording, it has 13 votes, with Paldean Wooper currently in the lead. I'll leave a pinned comment below with a link to the poll. I highly encourage you all to vote, since I'm curious to see what everyone thinks. Anyway, now that we've gone over the Pokemon, let's take a look at some of the new characters they unveiled. I'm going to go through these pretty quick, since we just have a little bit of information on each of them. Clavell. He's the director of the academy, and friends with Professor Sada and Turo. Arvin. He isn't the best at Pokemon battles, but is really good at cooking. Grusha, who I first thought was a girl, but is actually a guy based on the website, is the Glacedo gym leader, who specializes in ice types and used to be a professional snowboarder. Jock is your homeroom biology teacher and developed a Pokedex app for the Rotom phone. And last, there's Penny. She's in the same grade as you, and has a shy personality, but loves her fluffy Eevee bag. And that does it for all the new characters unveiled in this trailer. There are some good ones, and I can't wait to learn more about them in the future. But next, let's talk about the legendary Pokemon, Koraidon and Miraidon. As most of us assumed, these two Pokemon have the ability to transform into vehicles, allowing us to traverse the region. We got info and names for 3 of their modes, and the names differ depending on which Pokemon you're talking about. First, we have Sprinting Build, or Drive Mode, which is used to drive around the land at full speed. Next is Swimming Build, or Aquatic Mode, which is the game's replacement for Surf, and will allow us to go across the water. Lastly, they showed off Gliding Build, or Glide Mode, which will allow us to fly through the skies above the region. In the trailer, it also looks like we'll be able to climb steep cliffs, but the website doesn't have any information about that mode yet. One thing that was weird to me at first is that Koraidon, even though it appears to have wheels, runs and swims with its legs while riding it. On the other hand, Miraidon does appear to use its wheels and jet engines. But then, after thinking about it, I realized it may be a clever design choice. Since Koraidon is supposed to represent the past, it uses its legs like they do in the Flintstones to move their vehicles, whereas Miraidon is futuristic, so of course it would use a more modern form of propulsion. So it actually makes a lot of sense, if that's what they intended. We also learned a little bit about the story. Apparently, there are 3 stories in the game, and we can tackle them whenever we want, and go back and forth between them. The one story involves the standard gym challenge, and we'll be able to take on the gyms in any order, which I just love. It's something we've always wanted, and they've finally done it. However, some of the recent leaks say that the gyms won't scale, which doesn't really make any sense to me. I would have loved if, based on your number of badges, the gym leaders would have completely different teams or varying levels. It's a missed opportunity in my opinion, and part of me is hoping that the leak is false, but it seems pretty legit. And the website, it specifically says, you can seek out a stronger gym leader if you want. So that would suggest that they all have fixed levels. And I guess it gives you an extra challenge if you want to head for the 5th gym first, but my issue is that early gyms will then be incredibly easy. Maybe the game has some unknown aspect that will help prevent that from happening, but I suppose we'll know for sure after the games come out. The gimmick of this generation was also covered in great detail. It's called the Terastal phenomenon, and when you terastalize the Pokemon, they get a Terra Jewel above their head like a crown, and their entire body looks like it's made of diamond. Every Pokemon has a Terra type, and once they transform, they become this type for the rest of the battle. This will then boost the power of moves and changes your Pokemon's weaknesses. Every Pokemon could have one of the 18 types as their Terra type, which can make battles pretty interesting. The one example they gave was an Eevee, which would typically have a normal Terra type, but if you're lucky, you could find one with a Grass or Water Terra type. Additionally, you need the Terra Orb to activate this phenomenon, and it has to be recharged with crystals found around the region. So you won't be able to constantly terastalize unless you've recharged your orb, and I assume certain Terra types may be rarer than others based on the Pokemon you're looking for. But one way they say you can find really rare types is through Terra Raid battles. But before we learn more about that, if you're still watching, why don't you consider hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. Subscribing is free and shows me that you're enjoying my content. Now back to the video. Yep, raids are back, but instead of fighting giant Pokemon, you and up to 3 friends will face off against a terastalized Pokemon, probably with a Terra type that is a little harder to find normally. Out in the wild, you'll find Terra crystals sticking out of the ground, and this is where you'll initiate the raid battle. The crystals are color-coded, so you'll easily know which Terra type the Pokemon has. The interface for joining looks very similar to Sword and Shield, and it appears that there is a time limit for how long you have to defeat the Pokemon. But the part that intrigued me the most was that you don't have to wait your turn to make a move. I guess everyone can just attack when they feel like it, which I think sounds awesome. This will certainly speed up the raids and make them feel more dynamic. In the trailer they mentioned coordination, so I'm wondering if 2 attacks hit at the same time, will they do a little extra damage? Maybe. But most likely they were talking about the cheer mechanic, which allows players to perform various cheers to boost attack, defense, or heal the party. Cheering at the right moment can certainly turn the tide of battle. But after the enemy Pokemon has been defeated, you'll be able to throw a Pokeball to catch it. And I love the throw animation for these raids. It all just looks really fun and has a decent amount of visual flair. Even the sound design while Pokemon is terastalized is great. It really creates the feeling that everything is made of crystal. But in addition to playing with friends in raid battles, you and up to 3 other people can also run around the same world together through the Union Circle, located at Pokemon centers across the region. Exactly how much you can do while in co-op remains a little vague, but it would appear that you can battle each other, catch Pokemon, trade, participate in raid battles, and ride on Koraidon and Miraidon. The idea of racing across the region with 3 other people sounds amazing. I still want to see a little more of it in action, but the whole thing looks promising. One other thing mentioned on the website is about character customization. You can now change your eye and mouth shape to create even more unique looks. And of course, you can modify your hair and eyebrow style as well. However, the outfit choices sound a little limited. Every outfit has a school uniform kind of look to it. It does seem like you have quite a bit to choose from, but I would have liked to see even more options. Thematically, it makes sense that you'd be wearing a school uniform, so it isn't a huge deal breaker or anything. But that's pretty much all the new information we've been told about these games. But another image that they posted was a really good look at the region map. It has lakes, mountain ranges, wastelands, and more. It seems to be a very diverse region, with many different environments. So, for the last part of this video, I figured we'll take a closer look at the map, since I was able to download a really high resolution version. I'm going to quickly go over some of the notable locations, but feel free to pause the video if you want to take a closer look for yourself at these areas. At the far south end of the map, you can see your starting location, along with the trainer's house that we got to see back in the first trailer. Then, if we start moving north, there's a lighthouse on a cliff overlooking the water. Then if we continue down the path, you'll reach a Pokemon Center, next to what might be a small town comprised of several houses. You'll eventually come to another Pokemon Center, outside the entrance to the central town of the region. I'd assume that you can go off to explore the surrounding areas a little, but the early game will likely nudge players in this direction. This town is massive, and I hope we can explore every inch of it, and each building has an interior. But in the very center, you can see the battlefield from the first trailer, and up at the far northern end is the Academy. The cluster of buildings to the left of the Academy almost looks like dorms or faculty housing, which wouldn't surprise me, since the Academy is obviously the focal point of this town. There are 2 Pokemon Centers and 3 major entrances, so this will likely be a central hub for your journey, and the location will pass through on numerous occasions. Now, let's take a quick journey around the map, spying any notable locations or landmarks. I'm likely not going to go into a ton of detail, otherwise this video would be over an hour long. But, if we go west from here, we see a Pokemon Center, as well as one of those towers that are scattered around the region. They seem to hold some significance, and I wonder if they're like the towers in Breath of the Wild, and after climbing to the top, you'll unlock a section of the map. Or maybe we can unlock the towers for fast travel. Then, if we continue down that path, we found another town. This one seems to be surrounded by crops. And to the south, there's another one overlooking the water, surrounded by what appears to be sand. If we take the route to the north, we pass through some windmills, and see another couple towns with a desert area in the middle. It looks like one has a boat dock, so I wonder if we'll be able to take a boat out to any of the distant islands, or maybe to some kind of post-game area, which we've seen games do in the past. The other town is like a desert oasis, since it has a ton of water running through it. Then, east of that, there's another town, along with a facility that overlooks the crater in the center of the region. Speaking of that crater, I can't wait to learn more about what happened here, or what may be underneath that swirling storm. I'm sure it will be part of the story. If we take a quick look north of that, we see a town up in the snowy mountains, which looks to be the location of the ice gym. I wonder how much of the mountain we can explore, and if there's an interior to it that we can check out. I also want to make note of these flags we've been seeing all over the region. They may be related to the evil team, and seem to mark the entrances to some kind of challenges we'll have to participate in, but it's hard to say for sure. But next we pass through a much larger desert area, and eventually reach a coastal town. If we continue south, there's another town complete with a hedge maze. I also want to take note that there are 3 Pokemon Centers pretty close together. One on the route heading for the town, and one outside each entrance. That seems a bit excessive, unless this map isn't necessarily drawn to scale, and the distance between these Pokemon Centers is farther than we think. It could also just be a matter of convenience, giving us plenty of centers so we'll never have to travel insanely far to reach one. Then, if we continue down and around, we're back to where we started. But I also want to quickly note the section in the upper right that is covered by clouds. Since Paldea is based on Spain, that would mean this area would lead to France. So, in the Pokemon world, it would connect to southern Kalos. I think it would be amazing if we could go there, either through DLC or something in the postgame. We never really got to see much of Southern Kalos back in Pokemon X and Y, so this could be an amazing opportunity to flush out that region even further. But overall, this map has an incredible amount of detail, and I glossed over some of it. So if you want to take a closer look, I suggest you go and get the high resolution version of the map for yourself. I'll put a link in the description to the press release where you can go and download it. But this region looks amazing, and I really want to know if we can explore every inch of it. It looks like all the nooks and crannies could be reachable, either through routes or scaling the sides of cliffs. Overall, this information has me even more excited than I was before. I can't believe the game is only 3 months away, and I'm really looking forward to exploring Paldea for myself. Well, I think I've rambled on long enough, so that will wrap things up for now. Thanks for watching. I put a lot of work into this video, so I hope you enjoyed it. But everyone, have a wonderful rest of your day. Stay safe out there, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.